Hey guys, happy terrific Tuesday. It's the best day of your life. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about tax liens. I did a podcast on tax deeds, which I'll put a link here below, and we're doing a supplement on it. But I want to talk about liens. So you're buying, and let's just talk about that. So um, any state, city, state or local government, in order to build roads or do whatever they're going to do, if they're not getting federal money, government from the United States, federal government, they need to raise money. So that's why we have, you know, taxes, property taxes, et cetera, et cetera. So if you're running any kind of business, how could you run a business if you didn't get any revenue? You couldn't. So some states more than others really cannot go without that revenue for long periods of time. And what they do is like, if somebody doesn't pay, we're talking about houses and tax liens like property taxes. If, let's say you don't pay your property taxes, they still need that money. So what they do is they go out and they say to other people, just people, citizens, anybody, I don't even think you have to be a citizen of the United States. Anybody can do it. Hey, 123 Main Street did not pay their property taxes and they were $1,000 this year. You know, do you want to give us $1,000 and you can get the interest that the owner of 123 Main Street has to pay later? And if you are an owner of a property, you get your tax bills, and it says, if you pay early, you get a discount. If you pay later, you pay more. And if you pay later than that, there's a penalty, et cetera, et cetera. Well, what we think where we're paying the property taxes naturally is okay, well, if we pay late, we send it to, let's say you're living in Virginia, we send it, and let's say we're living in Arlington. We send it to Arlington. We paid it late. We paid a late fee, and Arlington gets the money in the late fee. Now, I don't know specifically the rules in Arlington, but a lot of places, you know, the money that you pay does go to Arlington, but then Arlington goes back and gives the interest and the principal back to the investor that put up the money because Arlington couldn't operate without the money. So every state is different. But what I can tell you is if you want to invest in tax liens, you can. And what happens is the rates of return are anywhere, I've seen them as low as like 6% and as high as 18%. So let's say you're in a state that pays 18% and you buy somebody's tax lien for $1,000. What that means is when they pay their taxes, you will get an 18% on your $1,000. If it's 2 years from now, 3 years from now. So some people, let's just say it was a year, you paid 123 Main Street, and then next year they didn't pay their property taxes either, which is usually the case. You want to pay them for the same property again the next year so that you have a right, if they never pay, to take the property. So buying tax liens in some of these tax lien states is not necessarily a good way. If your whole goal is to get the property, 80% of the time or more, you're not going to get the property. You're going to get your money back plus an interest rate, which is not a bad deal. I mean, if you're in states where you're making 18% on your money and it's basically guaranteed government money, the only negative to that is it's totally illiquid. So you buy a tax lien, you don't know when you're getting, I used to joke around with one of my old partners, we bought a couple of these and, we would, you just never know when you go to the mailbox and the check's in the mail with the interest, So, it could be a year from now, 3 years, 5 years. Every state is different, but you can buy these liens. You can make high interest returns. And 20% of the time, if they don't pay, you would have to institute a foreclosure and you could take the property back. So most people in real estate are thinking like, hey, let me buy a tax lien to get a property. Well, in a lot of states, you're just really buying a tax lien as a financial vehicle. You invested in it, it gives you a return, and you don't even, most of the times, you're not even going to get the property. There are states and different townships that where you can basically pay the taxes and then take the house and actually get the deed to the house, which is what I'm going to put a podcast I did with one of my students down here, which is what he does, and what I have done a lot in the past. And you can do that, but I'm talking about there is a separate thing where you're basically buying the liens. you can get the house, but it will take multiple years and you're really getting a return on your investment. So I hope, one, you understand that there's differences, and I hope if it interests you, you can email me. I can point you out to different states that have high returns. With Chat GPT and stuff these days, you could probably just put in there, states with the highest tax yield, liens, highest yield on tax liens. But anyway, have the best day of your life. Talk to you guys soon. See you.